if you guys knew the night I had last night, and the fact that I have to do this on my FaceTime camera with my friend snoring in the background, it's hectic, but I'm back. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Queenie, for those who don't know me. I'm gonna try to do this as efficiently as possible, but life is lifing right now, so please have some grace for me, okay? I'm gonna do episodes 17 and 18. Maybe I'll do 19 and 20 together as well. We will see. But before I get into it, please make sure to like this video, subscribe and hit the bell, and leave a comment down below. I'm just gonna quickly go through what happened in episode 17. We had Mimi, who felt embarrassed that Ayo picked Uma as the person he's most sexually attracted to outside of her, and she said that she wished he would have picked Jess or Nicole. So me personally, I was thinking, I don't really know how Ayo could have played it better, but I guess picking her closest friends would have made more sense than going for either a new girl or a girl he's already expressed interest in. So yeah, kind of sucks to be in that situation, but Mimi, I appreciate Mimi's calm demeanor. But I'm like, you can give it to him sometimes, you know? Like, you don't have to be the cool girl all the time. I know she's naturally calm. I'm not asking her to act outside of who she is. But, like, I feel a part of her is trying to keep the peace. And I wonder if she's ever going to truly express actual frustration with him. Maybe it's because they're on TV. So I'll give her a pass on that one. Harriet and Ronnie go at it because she called him an actor loud enough for him to hear. He didn't appreciate that. He said, I don't need to act. I'm a changed man. Look at my prize. Look at my prize. Talking about Tiffany. Well, does Tiffany knows that she's your prize? Because I don't think she want to be there. I don't think she wanted to be won by you. But anyways, these two obviously still have something going on, or they wouldn't be bothering each other as much as they do. Almost everyone is under the impression that what Ayo did was not right, but he feels like he stayed true to himself, which is kind of confusing to me because he earlier had a conversation with Mimi and Omar, and he said that the games are just games, like they don't really mean anything. But now he's saying that he answered honestly and that people shouldn't really take it that deep. But I'm like, if you answered honestly, it makes it sound like you still do have something for Uma, and so therefore the game is serious. I don't know, his logic isn't really making sense to me, but whatever. Omar and Tilda talk about love languages, but Shawn intercepts to take her to the hideaway. Everyone is like, oh my gosh, he has so much balls. Should he have done that? Should he not have done that? This is what starts a little bit of a beef between Omar and Shawn. Me personally, I'm happy to see Shawn do what he has to do to secure his match. I think the way that he's gone about certain things can be seen as like shiesty. This not so much, but what he does in the next episode is a little bit more like ruthless. And I guess on a game level, I see it. We'll get to it. We will get to it. Getting ready for bed, Mimi wonders if she's overthinking. Harriet cries over the confrontation with Ronnie. Uma kisses Will in bed, and so does Ronnie with Tiffany. Then in the morning, both Omar and Shawn make coffee for Matilda. Ayo still feels like there wasn't an issue with what he did in the game because he's going to be honest. And Matilda says that she liked that Shawn put himself out there the night prior. Omar then tells Shawn that he didn't appreciate the conversation being cut short, and he says that it's going to be the beginning of an ugly game. And Shawn, to Omar's face, was like, yeah, sure, I understand. But then at the beach, he was like, listen, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to feel a way about it. I do appreciate the confidence. I totally get it. Because these two are saying that they're friends, I can see where it gets a little bit messy, though. But it's Love Island. I guess you just got to do what you got to do. Shawn and Harriet talk about Ronnie. Not sure why he's still a topic of conversation for Harriet, but in the next episode we see that she never really planned on letting that connection go for real. So I guess she's going to still try. He gives her horrible advice, and he's like, yeah, you need to, you know, give him one last tongue lashing. You need to really give him the business. Tell him, why are you talking to him at all? Why are you talking to him at all? The man clearly gets a rise out of you. He obviously has treated you like some piece of trash, you know, his leftovers, his sloppy seconds. Girl, leave that man alone, okay? Mimi tells Ayo that he could have chosen someone else, and she doesn't appreciate that he played the game logically. She would have wished that he played the game a little bit more emotionally. I feel like he was playing emotionally. I feel like those were his emotions. He did what he wanted to do. I don't know. That's just me. Grace and Joey talk about being closed off in a sense, but she did say that if he wasn't here, the person who she would get to know more is Omar, and that Omar has actually been giving a few little flirty comments here and there that she has picked up on. She didn't really say if she reciprocated, but she did say if Joey wasn't here, Omar would be her spec. So don't know if Grace feels a little bit trapped being with Joey because they do have the history and it basically was the biggest storyline at the time. I wonder if she's having some regrets. I don't know. Because even later on, what happens with Omar, she's a little bit sad about it. So I'm like, Grace, it's okay if you wanted to explore things with Omar. Like, we wouldn't have been mad at that. Then you have Tiffany, who now has Ronnie's full attention, and she is no longer interested. In my video before, I said that Tiffany is by far the most DTF person out of the three people that Ronnie has given the most time to. And some people disagreed. Me personally, I'm still gonna stick with it. I think that the chase for Ronnie was more exciting. The potential of exploring a sexual connection with Ronnie was more exciting. And now that he's here full time, it's not so fun anymore, you know? So I'm not surprised that things have shifted on her side. She says that she's wanting something more, and what they have built is not enough to have a relationship, which is true because they don't talk about nothing. They just smile at each other and think about ripping each other's clothes off. So now in episode 18, Tiffany finally ends things with Ronnie.
Me and you, it's going well.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's like missing something.
Okay. It's like just started between us, no?
Yeah.
We're touchy-feely.
Do you think we are, though? Like, enough?
Yeah,
I don't know
like,
if we are enough. You just banter all the time. I don't really know if it's, like, on a deeper level, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Ronnie was obviously trying to save face, but I will say he played it off very well. He didn't lash out. He didn't make it too much of a jokey situation. He was like, you know what? It's cool. If I'm not for you, then that's fine. I think it's a little bit too early to be having this conversation, but whatever. Me personally, I'm glad that Ronnie has finally met his match because he thought he could outplay the game and just got played. So Tiffany, good on you, girl. But were you actually here for something real? I don't know. I think you were here for the chase of Ronnie, and now that that's done, there's no more interest in there. And there's no other guy in here that she's really into. Yeah, she was speaking to Shawn for a little bit, but let's be for real, that wasn't serious. Then Shawn makes it clear to Matilda that he only has eyes for her.
I genuinely want to be proactive with you. Previously, I've sort of been jumping the gun with stuff and I don't want Omar to have a sniff of you. I feel like we're very similar in certain ways, able to trust you on a deeper level.
I love that.
I'm loving this new side of Shawn that we're getting. I still want to see more conversations of them actually connecting rather than them talking about her other connection. I feel like that kind of takes away from what they could be building together, but they do seem to have something nice going on. He stopped talking about Candy, thank God. So we'll see where things go with him. Nicole is upset with Kieran because he was ignoring her in this stupid game that Ronnie brought up. I don't know why you would play any of Ronnie's games, but basically the first person to talk to the person who they're supposed to ignore loses the game. And so at first they did it with Omar, and Connor broke the communication or the lack of communication. And then they did it to Mimi and Nicole. And Kieran would rather appease the guys than look out for his girl.
I was like trying to speak to the boys, all of them blanked me. Am I overreacting? Because when I stand there in front of a group of boys and you ignore me...
No, it's bang out of order.
I'm your girl, you speak to me. So I went, Kieran, walked away. If you want to be a little boy and show off in front of the boys, crack on, but I ain't being a part of that.
Now... he's definitely 21, but also the other guys were playing it too, and they're older, so I can't even put an age on it, to be for real. I do think that guys need to be careful being the clown in front of their friends at the expense of their partner. I think that's where the issue lied. Like, the game is somewhat harmless. I think if they kept it going with Omar, it could have felt a little bit exclusionary, but for the most part, like, the game is harmless until it is at the expense of somebody who has a vested interest in you, right? So if you're ignoring your girl, it doesn't matter what the reason is, she's always gonna be offended by it. So then she's like, well, I'm gonna give him the cold shoulder because he's being immature. Well, the cold shoulder is kind of immature too. And then he decides he's not gonna sleep in the bed with her. And then the next morning, they're still not talking. I'm like, oh Lord. But I wish that Kieran was able to articulate this to Nicole. He tells the guys that I don't want to have the conversation right now because I'm not in an emotional state to handle it maturely, which is a good thing, but tell your partner that so at least they know you are thinking about them, you are thinking about it, you're not just brushing it off. It's just that you're not in the right headspace to handle it in a proper way. Then we have Joey and Omar, who have a confrontation over Omar's flirty comments to Grace.
You've said something to her in her ear, yeah?
Yeah, and that's what.
So why are you not telling me? Because I've got no problem, because there's no competition between me and you, brother. Trust me.
I'm not talking about competition.
No competition, ever. I'm just letting you know.
So
no competition, mate. No competition.
What's the problem? You're getting excited, don't show off.
Number one, I didn't even think these guys were boys. So them being like, oh, you're my boy, well, you're my boy. Like, what the hell? Like, you're stepping towards my woman. Like, I didn't know that they were that close. Do I think it is shiesty that Omar was making comments to Grace? I guess. Because even though those two aren't closed off, it's pretty clear that they go together. Like, come on, let's be for real. I do think that Joey was trying to flex a little bit. But I also think that Omar was trying to flex. Omar was trying to flex on Shawn the day before, absolutely. I like this side of Omar. I like this little feisty side of him because he was kind of giving soft to me. He was kind of giving soft for a little bit, so I kind of like to see the code switch drop. It was refreshing for me personally. I would have been interested to see Grace explore a connection with Omar. And shortly, I'm gonna talk about it because it happens next. Omar gets dumped, right? And she says that she was getting to know Omar. But before, I thought she said it was just these comments here and there, like it didn't mean anything. Joey had nothing to worry about. So I was like, oh, in the back of your mind, were you still wanting to explore something with Omar? But it's just that Joey is this big elephant in the room that you can't get over. That's just a thought that I have. So anyways, Maya comes and she tells the villa that the outside has been voting for their favorite couples. The bottom couples are Joey and Grace. I didn't expect them to be in the bottom. Omar and Jess expected. Will and Uma expected. Ronnie and Tiffany also expected. So the group decides, the safe people decide who goes home, and they decided it would be Omar and Tiffany. Now Tiffany, they understand. Omar, it's a little bit of controversy why Omar was dumped.
I don't think we should have kicked Omar out, so he's not in your way.
I'll stand by it.
Morally, that's wrong.
Hand on my heart, I feel like the connection with Matilda was way stronger than Omar's connection.
It's still not for you to decide what Matilda wants to do.
No, of course. This is what I want to happen. I don't want to go after what I want.
So here's my opinion on Shawn wanting Omar out. On a game standpoint, it absolutely makes sense. Get your competition out of here. Make this as easy for you as possible. However, I do agree with Kieran when he says you cannot choose for Matilda. It is not up to you who Matilda is going to pursue. And so is she pursuing you now because you were the only option or because you were her only option? You know what I'm saying? You've removed the competition, which is great for you, but how genuine is this pursuit from Matilda now that you are the only person she has available? Did she decide that on her own? Not yet. So she does say like, oh, it is sad to see Omar go, but I really would have been gutted if Shawn leaves, which is great for Shawn because it does seem like she was leaning more towards him anyways. But from Shawn's point of view, he doesn't know where he stood with Matilda in regards to Omar. So yeah. I think Kieran was a little bit on his high horse, like, okay, it's a game. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. If I'm feeling threatened by somebody else and I have the opportunity to get them out, I'm gonna get them out. Simple as. But as for Matilda, I can understand what he's saying, like, don't make the decision for someone else. The episode ends with Harriet and Jess, actually, considering Ronnie again.
How do you feel about the Ronnie sitch? Would you ever?
We never, with our situation, obviously,
It never got fully
closed down. Since then, like, we still laugh and joke and flirt and whatever. In the back of my mind, I'm kind of thinking, is it only happening because Tiff's not here now?
Obviously, Tiffany's gone and I feel bad, like, not bad, but...
Interesting.
Obviously, we did have something good going on. In the end, like the way it did end and that, I didn't feel like we ended bad.
Oh, she's fucking buzzing.
It's interesting how Jess made a comment that I'm not gonna be a doormat. I feel like Ronnie wants somebody who's a pushover, but yet here you are considering Ronnie again. And your reason is because you didn't get to fully resolve that relationship. There's definitely some unfinished business there. So then wouldn't you also fall under this like doormat thing that you're saying you don't want to be, because you're also considering him? She's saying it in regards to Harriet, but I'm like, I need Jess to get out of this mindset that she is better than Harriet. You are fighting for the same man. You are in the same boat. You are not better than Harriet, okay? And it seems like Ronnie would rather go for Harriet anyways. I haven't heard him talk about Jess. I do think that he goes for Harriet because Harriet does seem like an easier option. She does seem a little bit more malleable. It is sad. I really want Harriet to stand on her own 2 feet. I want her to find confidence. I want her to consider a good guy. Is there a good guy in here for her right now? No. But is Ronnie a good person to latch onto in the meantime? No. And he's obviously messing up with her psyche. It's just not good for her. I don't think Ronnie is good for her. I think Ronnie is going to be a canon event for her. And hopefully somebody comes in for her that is truly 100% like focused on Harriet, nobody else, and she sees the difference between that and what Ronnie is doing to her. Ronnie just looking for a plaything. Ronnie doesn't want a serious relationship, let's be for real. Even with Tiffany, I feel like that was a performance. I'm sorry. I don't believe he ever was going to change for Tiffany. I think he just, I don't even know what that was, but we will see what happens. Like I said, life has been pretty hectic for me these last few days, so I don't know when the next video will come out. So please continue to have some grace and patience with me. I appreciate it so much. In the meantime, please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.